Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well and staying safe and healthy during this time. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be about why do narcissists love secrets. So, if you have experienced narcissistic abuse at the hands of a narcissistic person or a narcissistic clan, you will know that one of the secret weapons that they use is secrets. So it works in a way where there's a group that knows something, and then there's these other people or you, or like the whoever they don't include in that situation who won't know about it. Um, so this is very frustrating and irritating for people who are in this situation. But recently something happened in my own life which kind of made me realize why they like it so much. And so that just got me thinking about this topic. So it kind of explained to me the psychology, or the what do you say, like the ego boost that they feel when they do something like this. And I saw it in a real life example actually. So that's what got me thinking about this topic, and I thought I should like share my thoughts about it. So let me tell you the incident that happened. So it's nothing bad really. So my husband's birthday is coming up, and I got like a few greeting cards that me and my son we hid it, and we'll give it to him on his birthday. But till that time we have kind of hidden it. So it's like our little secret that we are going to keep it till the time it's his birthday. So I saw my son's behavior, and my son is 5.5. So I mean, it's like he's not a toddler anymore. He's a big kid, but he's still learning. His ego is still growing, and you can't call him like completely mature, or like he's not an adult yet, basically. So I saw his behavior, and he was kind of like baiting my husband a little bit. Like he was like, oh, close your eyes because you can't see this. And there was no reason at all for him to kind of bring it up. But he would always bring up this topic that me and mom know something that you don't know. So what that so for us it was very funny that he was doing that, and we found it very cute. But when such kind of behavior stays in grown adults, whereas you expect as people grow their brain would evolve and expand, and hopefully they actually become adults, not just physically but also mentally and emotionally. Many people don't. So narcissists don't, and their followers who follow with the narcissist, they also don't. So what happens is, um, in this case, like with the secrets, what happens is it gives the narcissistic person this false sense of power. Like they know something that others, that they can give as information to others or gossip to others, or like basically a topic of something very exciting to other people. So it gives them this false sense of power, because the power is not coming from inside them. It's just coming from this piece of information about the scapegoated person. So it's kind of like the scapegoated person holds the power. So everything about them becomes powerful. Even a small piece of information about this person is now powerful in the eyes of the narcissist. So that's why they want to kind of discuss it and give it away, sort of a thing, right? So even in this you can see where the real power lies, and how the narcissist is kind of just like how there's paparazzi, or there's this media who kind of just like makes up stories about celebrities and things like that. They kind of treat the empathetic person in the group that way, because the empathetic person at a certain level senses the energy, or the being of a narcissistic person and their group. And they decide that we don't want to attach to this because this is not really helpful, this is not where we are going in life. And so they become this kind of exclusive person for the narcissist, because the narcissist wants to attain everything, and the sensitive person or the empath or the scapegoat is the person who doesn't want to be with the narcissist at a very subtle level. They kind of repel each other. So yeah, so by talking about this exclusive person, something about their life, or anything about them, even made up rumors, it gives the narcissistic person this like kid like excitement or false sense of power, where they have to acquire power not from within themselves but from somewhere outside of them. So that's the first reason. Then the second reason is that it gives the narcissistic person some sort of a control over the scapegoats or the empath's reputation. And so they feel that because I cannot directly control the person, what I can instead do is control the person's reputation. So that's why they try to spread rumors, lies, whatever. They try to paint you in a certain way to other people, whoever listens, whoever is willing to listen, etc. Then the third point is, if the empathetic person is, or if the scapegoat in the situation has not clearly understood the dynamic, it results in triangulation. So it could be where the narcissistic person spoils the empath's reputation with a close friend of theirs. And now this close friend of theirs turns against the empath. So it gives the narcissistic person some leverage over the empath's relationships. So they will always choose targets who are probably not aware of what is the dynamic going on, what is the plan going on, what is all the emotional manipulation going on. And they are kind of gullible, they are naive, and they fall for the narcissist's lies, and they over time start believing the narcissistic person over the empath. So in that way they kind of get some leverage over the empath's relationships. And then the last point is just like, if the scapegoat or the empathetic person is still looking to be included in a certain group, because empaths or scapegoats often from a very young age, they kind of learn things very quickly and they mature very quickly. So they don't fit in very well in schools, or in basically in immature, when where the emotional maturity is lacking, they don't really fit in. So they have always been alone a little bit. So the they give the scapegoated person a sense of inclusivity in the beginning, just to kind of exclude them later. So they might pick up on these things that, oh, this person is a loner and so and so. So this is, I'm talking about later in life of the scapegoated person or the empathetic person. If you meet a narcissist later in your life, that narcissistic person can make you feel like, oh, I'm going to include you in my group just to exclude you, just to kind of um, do their power play on you, because that is what gives them a sense of power. All of their power is external somehow, it doesn't come from the inside. And it doesn't come from the inside because most narcissists have a very broken or fractured connection to their soul. They don't probably they don't even believe in the concept of a soul or concept of a greater like oneness between all people. It's all very competitive to them, it's all very survival based. So they can't grasp concepts like oneness or empathy. They don't understand it. So that's why they kind of are lacking in power, internal power. So they are looking outside for material things, for relationships, to gain some sort of power from these. So first they go for material things, but later they realize this is not fulfilling my desires, and then they start going for people who have internal power, like empathetic people, or people who are of a little bit of a higher spiritual consciousness. And then they try to like latch on to such people and kind of get their fix from those people. So yeah, this was this this is what prompted this video. My son's actions basically on how he loved keeping a secret and kind of showing his dominance in the whole dynamic, like I know something that you don't know, kind of a thing. So if you like this video, please do like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And as always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.